Tiffany Lee Nishia de Betlishan and Ishlin, Natlana Bashish Chin, Sanjakina Dasha Chedo, Natlana Dashanala, Tonsila de Nasha. My name is Tiffany Lee. I am a Distinguished Professor of Native American Studies. My clan is Black Sheep on my mother's side, and it's and Lakota from Pine Ridge, South Dakota on my dad's side. Yeah, I think my family, my mother was really my primary example for that. I think the work that they did, a lot of my aunts, my mother was in Indigenous education, or she worked for the Bureau of Indian Education. She was a teacher. It was always by doing work in service to her people. So she was always working on behalf of her own community or other tribal communities. Seeing that with my other, aunts and uncles as well, I think that was a big influence for me. Also, I went to a school, a really special school called Rock Point Community School when I was in middle school. And that was a unique school that really prioritized Navajo language. At the time, the students, that was their first language. So that was the first language that they were taught in. And they didn't learn, standard English until, maybe second or third grade. Knowing that my mother's first language was Navajo, and I remember being in a car with her when I was 9 years old, and she had a lot of regret. She was like, "I wish I had taught you Navajo more as you were growing up." And so those kinds of memories and experiences, I think, really influenced me to pursue this area of language education, language revitalization, and sustainability. And I think learning about past research practices with Native people and wanting to do it in ways that were more meaningful, that were more beneficial, that really has to involve community and learning how to do that in appropriate ways. So I'm working with colleagues at UCLA and University of Arizona on this nationwide study that the Spencer Foundation has funded to determine how Indigenous language immersion schools impact education for Native American learners. So we're looking at what are their opportunities to learn in those kinds of settings and immersion settings, and what are the outcomes. So learning about these schools and the impact that they've had on their children, and then even more so when we go to these schools and walk in the school building and all the children are speaking in their native language, it's just so heartwarming and hopeful and inspiring, and it just really makes you want to get more involved, right? And to support these schools. Our world, our country, our state, the city can learn a lot from what Native people are doing in Indigenous education, especially those Indigenous language immersion schools. The students that I've seen in these schools are so confident and are so motivated to want to continue with the language, but also to transform their communities as well. And so I think there's a lot to learn from that. Are our school systems doing that now? Our public school systems, are they doing that with our students through the kind of approach that we have? Or is there a way we can adopt, what we've learned from good models, important models, successful models? And even through their challenges, what can we adopt and learn from those schools to improve education for everybody? My name is Tiffany Lee. I am a Distinguished Professor of Native American Studies.